it feels like a guy in Nate Lavender, Joe, is really pushing to be a part of this bullpen. I don't know if that will be necessarily right out of the gate, but he's been striking out hitters at an extremely high rate this spring. And when you look at the bullpen, there's not a ton of spots open. The Mets did sign a lot of one-year flyer types. They do have Brooks Raley and Edwin Diaz already here, and Drew Smith, and obviously options come into play. But we were wondering, Joe, out of all of these different names in the bullpen, who's going to have the big spring? And it's been the spring of Lavender.
Nate Lavender's been fantastic, and he is not going to make the opening day roster. I believe the other day the Mets already demoted him to minor league camp. So the plan is not to have Nate Lavender on the opening day roster, which you have, like you mentioned, Brooks Raley. You also have Jake Diekman. Do you really want to carry three lefties? I know there's some reverse split stuff with Brooks Raley that maybe. The reality is at some point in time this season, we are going to see Nate Lavender on the team. He's not on the 40-man roster, so they don't have to add him until they want to have him at the major league level. Obviously, once you do that, that brings across all the options he has. But just to give you a synopsis of what Nate Lavender is and why he's successful. So he's a former 14th round pick, and article, I believe it was Will Salmon, friend of the show, wrote that in one of his first spring outings, he had an extension of 7.4 feet, which extension means basically how far from the mound is the baseball upon release. And if he's able to sustain that number, that would be in the top 1% of baseball. And his induced vertical break on his fastball, which we've talked about a few times on this show, that kind of gives it that riding motion. He's around, above average amongst pitchers. He's in like the 17-inch or so range where 18 inches is considered to be good. So he's kind of just a touch below that. But that extension gets him closer to the plate. The vertical break makes it look like the fastball jumps a bit. So when he's throwing 90 to 92, visually for the hitter, it looks like 96. Like it just comes up on you faster. And that's an instance where I think analytics really do play a bit of a role. Like I heard Nate say in the locker room after his first outing, and we were there in the clubhouse, and he said something about like he throws his 92 with might, and that makes it better. And whatever, I don't know how quantifiable that is, but having this analytics can explain to you why that fastball is so successful, and he could throw it almost down the middle and throw it past hitters at lower velocity. So very interesting guy that is, I think, proving to be a player development success story.